In this video, we are going to be learning how to draft a corset pattern. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Esther Prara. In today's video, we are going to be learning how to draft a corset pattern. This is a much requested video on my channel, so here we go. So in front of me, what I have here is the basic bodice block. If you don't know how to draft this basic bodice block, I will drop a link in the description box. This is the foundation to a corset pattern. If you don't know how to draft a basic bodice block, then you will not be able to draft a corset pattern. So just go straight right now to watch the basic bodice block. Is on my channel. When you finish watching it, then you can come back to watch this particular video. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do now is to introduce, okay, let me just go briefly, let me just explain briefly what we have here. So this is my front half length. You know, usually your front half length and your back half length are never the same. This is the front half length and it's 18 inches, and this is my back half length. This is my center front, this is my front pattern, and this is my back pattern. This center front and this is center back. So this is my front half length 18 inches and this is my back half length 16 inches. This is my shoulder line, this is my chest line, this is my shoulder to nipple line. So this is my chest line too, this is my shoulder, and this is the dart, this is the back tightening, 0.75 back tightening. This is my dart, this is my front dart, and this is my bust dart. The bust dart is the difference between your front half length and your back half length, which is 2 inches. That's what I use in getting my bust dart. So the next thing we want to introduce is our underbust line. Our underbust line. So the underbust line I'm working with here is 5. This is 13.5. My underbust line. So the next thing I want to do is to draw that ½ inch that is usually on corset, the one that separates the two busts from each other. That's ½ inch. It's usually ½ inch. By the time you open it, it becomes 1 inch. If you make it wider than ½ inch, it usually looks awkward. Okay, so that's the ½ inch there. So the next thing we want to do is to divide our shoulder. Into two. Divide your shoulder, this part. After the neck point, you divide it by 2. Just put your tape and divide it by 2. Then you connect it to the bust point. Connect it to the bust point. You see it? Connect it to the bust point. So the next thing we want to do, we want to tighten our overbust. And to tighten your overbust, you are going to impute how deep you want your corset to be, how deep you want it to be. So I'm going to use 6.5. You can use 6.5. You can use 7 inches. Depends on you. So for this I'm going to use, let's use 7 inches. So I'm going to use 7 inches. 7 inches. So I'll connect the line. See, I've connected the line. So I want to tighten my overbust. So to tighten my overbust, this is where I'm going to tighten. The line I just drew now, that's where I'm going to tighten my overbust. So to tighten my overbust, I'm going to use 0.75 on both sides. I'll put 0.75 here and 0.75 here. It works for everybody. You can try it. 0.75, 0.75. See, 0.75. Then I'll connect it to my bust point. So you see, I've tightened my overbust. So as I've tightened my overbust, the next thing I want to do is to tighten my underbust too, just the way I tighten my overbust. But to tighten your underbust, this is what you do. You impute your underbust measurements. So my underbust, for this client I'm working with, our underbust is 31. So our underbust is 31. So what I'll do is I'll divide my 31, the underbust measurement, I'll divide it by 4. So I'm going to mark the 7.75. Note, see, I'm not marking it from the ½ inch because it's still part of our measurement. This ½ inch is still part of our measurement. I mark the ½ inch just to mark the separation between each bust. That was why I marked it. So as I'm marking this thing now, I'm going to mark it from this line, from our center front, not from the ½ inch. Please take note. So I'm going to mark my 7.75 inches. So this is it here. So you see it. So I'm going to take note of what is remaining after marking my 7.75 inches. I'm going to check what is remaining from this point that I mark to the 2 inches. So these 2 inches, I'm going to share it on both sides. I'm going to share it on both sides, but I am not going to share it equally. I'm just going to put ½ inch here, and I'll put 1.5 inch here. You see it. I'm going to mark ½ inch on this side, and the remaining one, you know, is 2 inches. So if I mark ½ inch here, to remain 1.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inch here. I hope you understand. If you don't understand, just rewind and watch it again. It's so simple. You get it. So I'm going to connect it to the bust point. I'm going to connect it back to the bust point, like so. You see it. Then I'll connect this one too. Please note the way I'm facing my curve. The head should be up. So for this one, you don't need to make it touch the bust point. We don't want any sharp point. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place my curve. Just make sure your curve is touching this line and it's touching this line here. You see it, not necessarily touching this point, because if you are trying to make it touch this point, you are going to have a sharp point, and you don't need that. So this is what I'm going to do. So you see, don't worry about this little, it's not going to affect anything. It's not going to affect anything. So you see, I'm having a nice curve here. My marker is faint. I'm trying to just manage it for this tutorial. So you see it. You see the nice curve that we have gotten. So we have been able to tighten our underbust. This is our underbust, and this is our overbust. So I've tightened our overbust and I've tightened our underbust. So the next thing you do, you connect it back to the dart line. So I'm going to connect it back to the dart line, like so. So I've connected it back to the dart line. So the next thing I want to do now is to get the depth of my neck, the depth of my neckline. So the cleavage depth. So you measure it from on your client, you measure it. So I'll use 6 inches. I'll just make use of 6 inches. 6 inches, which is this. So I'm just going to connect it like so. So you see, I've connected it. But connecting it, what I'll do, I'll close first not to have any shortage. I'm going to close this place to continue this line, so that by the time we want to join, we'll not have shortage. But I'll come back to it. Let's just continue with the tutorial. So now we want to get our cup. So for us to get our cup, from the side, what you do, you come in by 1.5. It works for everybody, really. It works for it. Try it. It works for everybody. Just come in by 1.5. 1.5, yeah. Then you use your curve to get your cup. From here, you make a curve down here. So you see what I'm doing? You see, that's my cup. Then I'll get my cup here too. But this time around, I'm not going to bring it to this part. You know, the cup is not going to get to this ½ inch. So I'm going to just, you can use your free hand first. You can use your free hand. Yes, you can use your free hand. You can also use your cup. I just want to get good. Yeah. Yeah, this is a nice cup. Okay. So this is my cup. So you see, that's my cup. That's my cup. So instead of leaving here straight, you can just come here and blend it in. You see it? And come here and just blend it in like so. So you see, our cup is ready. Let's go straight to the back pattern. So the first thing you want to do for the back pattern is to determine how open you want your back to be. So I want the back to be opened by, I want this place to be opened by 2 inches. And I want this part to be opened by, I want it to be opened by 3 inches. So that's how wide I want my back to be opened. So I'm going to connect it together like so. I'm going to connect it together like so. So this is how wide. And please take note of this, whatever you remove here, because when you want to attach it to the skirt, part, you will need it. So don't forget what you went in by. Don't forget it. We went in by 2 inches here and we went in by 3 inches here. Then what you will do next is to close. You have to close your waist that. Or before we go to the back, let's just finish with the front. So that let's just finish with the front. So for us to continue with the front, what you do is to open your bust, your waist dart, because we want to start closing that now. So before you can close one dart, you have to open another dart. So let's just, these are front length, so I'm going to just cut it out first. I'm going to cut the excess out. So I've cut the excess out. So I'm going to open, this is my waist dart. I'm just going to open my waist dart, the middle of my waist dart, the middle. So I'm going to open it. Please watch what I'm doing carefully. I'm just opening it to the bust point. So I've opened it to the bust point. Now I can close this, my over bust tightening. I want to close it so that I can redraw my neckline so that it will match. You can see it's matching up now. It's matching up now. So if I want to cut this, I'll cut on this line. I'll cut on this line when I'm cutting. So I'll also close the bust dart. I'll close the bust dart, then reshape this place. So see what I'm doing. This is how you close your dart. You make a fold on one part, then you place it on the next, on the other line. You see it? See what I'm doing? I hope you can see. See, it's not matching again. Look at where this line is and look at where this other line is. So before you cut, please try and match up first. Match it up before you cut. If you just cut without matching it up, by the time you are joining, they will not match. Please take note of that. It's very, very important. Very, very important. You have to blend up before you cut. Good. So I've taped my bust dart down. That's the way we want it. So now I'm going to cut every part. Look at where I'm going to cut. Please watch. I'm going to cut here because all these places are darts. These places are going out. They are going out. All these places, they are the darts. So they are going out. This place, they are our darts. They are going out. They are not needed. You see it? All these shaded parts are going out. You see, this is my over bust. It's also going out. It's going out. So you see, these are the parts that are going out. This is my yoke. This is my yoke. I can use a tulle net or any fabric of my choice that I want to use. So this is my yoke. This is my cup. This is my center front cup. This is my center front cup. And this is my side front cup. So you see, I've labeled it. So I'm going to cut it now. This is it. The 1 inch that is here, I cut it out because it's not part of our pattern. So it's out. So now this is the ½ inch that we left. So I'm going to cut like this. I'm going to cut like this. I'm going to cut my cup. I want to cut my cup now. So look at what I'm doing. This is the part that we cut from the under bust. this part. I just want to leave this part so that you'll be seeing what I'm cutting, so you understand, so that you will not get confused. This part was cut from this part. So now I want to cut my cup. So look at me, I'm cutting my cup now. You see what I'm doing? I'm cutting my cup. See, I'm cutting my cup. I'm doing it carefully so that you people follow me and understand how everything is being done, so that you not get confused. Let me put everything back. See what I've done. I cut this space out. This is the shaded part I told you about. See, it is going out. Now this is my cup. This place will now be my yoke. Since we have tightened the overbust, we are going to tighten our yoke. Since we use 0.75, we are going to mark 0.75 again. 0.7 to tighten your yoke so that it will balance by the time you fix it back. So we have cut our center front. See, our cups. This is our cups. Then let's cut out the remaining part. This is side. And this is the cup, and this is the body. All we need to do, if you don't want it to be separated, you can join these two together. We'll come back to this. Let's tighten our yoke so that our yoke will not gape. So this is me tightening my yoke. So you see, I've tightened our yoke. So what I need to do is just to tape it down. Before you cut, just add 1.5 inches here. Then connect it back, or 1 inch. You can add 1 inch or 1.5. Then you connect it back. This is to avoid any shortage, so that we don't have any shortage later. Now I can cut it out. You see it? If you want to alter your neckline, this is the time to do it. If you want to alter, if you are not satisfied with 3x3, you know it's the basic neckline that is on this pattern. So if you want to alter it to maybe like 4 inches, you want the width of your neck to be 4 inches, and you want the depth to be 4 inches too. So you just alter it now. So you connect it. So I've altered my neckline to 4x4. So you can now cut it. And see, our front block is ready. So this is our yoke. This is our cup. These are side front. You see it? This is the center front. This is side front. So this is how it's going to be. Let's keep it aside first. Then let's move to the back. We marked 2 inches. I said how open you want your back to be. The back where the lacing bar will be. So I removed 2 inches here, and I removed 3 inches here. This is how when it's open, the down part is going to be 4 inches, and the upper part is going to be 6 inches when it's opened. I hope you understand. Taking off every unnecessary part. So this is out. So I want to close my, before I close my waist, before I close my dart, what I would do is to tighten this upper part. I'm going to tighten this part. So I'll tighten it by 0.25 on both sides. I'll connect it back to the dart line like so. So I'm going to tape it down. I've closed my dart now. So the next thing I want to do is to determine the kind of neckline that I want. If I want a, okay, let's alter our neckline. You know, we alter the neckline of the front. Please, when you alter the neckline of the front, please alter the back too, especially the width. If you alter the neckline of the front, we made it 4 inches, so we are going to make this one 4 inches too. 4 inches. So if you want to leave the depth like this, you can leave it. I've altered the width of my neckline. So the next thing I want to do is to decide the kind of yoke that I want. If you want the classic yoke, first you will go up here by 1.5 or 2 inches. Let's do 1.5. 1.5 will work. You go up here by 1.5. Then you connect it. If you want a classic neckline, I'll show you 2 different yoke style you can do at the back. So I'm connecting this to that mark. You know, I marked 3 inches here and I marked 2 inches here. So I'm going to connect this to this place, to the inches, to the 3 inches that I marked. So like so. If I want a classic neckline, all I need to do is to draw from my neck width. I'll just draw like so. I'm using a pen. You see it? Here will now be my yoke. And here will be my back. From this part size. Here will be my yoke. Why this part? Why this part will be my back? You see it? Here will be my back. Here's my side back. You see it? And here will be. But I don't want this. This is a very fine, it's a classic neckline, but this is not what I want. I want a keyhole neckline. I'm going to come down here by 2 inches. Then I'll connect it. So anywhere you want to connect it, if you want to connect it to, if you want to connect your yoke to this part. So you see. So now this whole part will be my yoke. There will be a button here. There will be buttons, 2 buttons here, and this whole part will be my yoke. So you see, this whole part will be my yoke, while this part will be my back. So the next thing we want to do is to get our modesty panel. It is from this pattern we'll get our modesty panel. So what I'll do, I'll bring a fresh paper. So this is a fresh paper. I'll put it underneath this. We want to get our modesty panel. So I'll just get a fresh paper, put it underneath it. Then I'll get my tracing wheel. So what I want to do, what you would do, whatever inches you left here, whatever inches you have removed here, which is 3 inches, you are going to times it by 2. So that's how wide your modesty panel is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. Our modesty panel is starting from, don't forget this line. This is the line we drew. So I'm going to increase this. So I told you, you know, this part is not there. This part is our back tightening. It's not there. So I'm going to mark, it's from here that I mark 3 inches. So 3 inches times 2, I'm going to mark another 3 inches. So it's going to stop here. My modesty panel is going to stop here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trace this part. See where I'm tracing? I'm tracing like this. This is my modesty panel. And I'll stop here. Please watch what I'm doing. It's so easy. So you see. Then I'm tracing like this too. So you see, I've traced it. I traced from here. From here. If here is 3, our modesty panel is going to be times 2, which is 6. We'll measure it when we are done. So you remove it, then you trace it out. We'll trace it. What we just traced to mark it. You will not be able to see it, but me, I can see it. So I'm going to follow my markings. My marker has given up. Well, Manage it. Okay, so for this down part, what you just need to do, just slant this place a bit. Reason why we're slanting it, so that we can know where it's up and down. So you can do it straight if you want, but I'll prefer to slant it so that we can know where it's up and down. Okay, so this up, this down, this down, and this is where the loop will hang on our pattern. See it, this is where the loop will hang on. This is where our loop, this is where we'll put our loop or eyelet. This is where we'll put it. So these are modesty panels. So we are going to cut 2 of this. Please note, if we measure this part now, we'll see that it's 6 inches. You can see it's 6 inches because it's 3 we remove here, so it's going to be times 2. So we are going to cut it out, and we are going to cut 2 of it. I hope you are following me, please. If you don't understand it, just rewind it. It's so easy. And if you need more clarification, you can ask me questions on comments in the comment section. Just ask me questions and I'll do more clarification. So these are modesty panel. It's called a modesty panel. This is what we put by the time here is open. If you want your back to be open, you just want the lacing to show, you don't need a modesty panel. You just leave it, you just loop. It's just the rope that will be showing here. Your back will still be showing. But if you want something to cover your back, that's why it's called a modesty panel, just to cover your back. So you make this so that by the time we sew this on this part, this place will just cover your back, while the rope will be on top of this modesty panel. By the time we sew it, you will understand better. So you're going to cut 2 of this times 2. You're going to cut two pieces of this. So we'll keep it aside and continue with our illustration. So look at where I'm cutting out now. All these parts are going now. They are not part of our, they are no longer part of our, they are no longer part of our pattern. So I'm going to cut now. See how I'm cutting it? You see what I'm doing? I hope you can see. I'm cutting every unnecessary part. So this is our armhole. So these are our back and these are our yoke. But before we cut our yoke, we'll do what we call a tightening. We'll tighten this part so that it will not gape by the time you put it on, so that it will not gape. For it not to gape, what you need to do is to introduce a gaping dart. So I'm going to introduce a gaping dart here. I'll open by 0.25. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to close this dart. Make sure the dart terminates before you get to the armhole. So I'll tape it down. We're almost done. So by the time you tape it down, you check if there is any alteration. If it's not matching, you try and match it up back. You see it? If it's not matching, try and match it up back. Then you cut. Remember, we altered the neckline, so you cut the new neckline. Let me cut from here. This is the armhole. This is the shoulder. Okay guys, So I've cut it out. You can see it. I've cut it. So this is the one that is going out. This is going out. So this is the back. You can see this is the yoke. This is the back, and this is our modesty panel that we cut out. So this is the front. This is the back, and this is the front. You see, this is our cup. This is our cup. You know this, please note, this is just one cup. This is one cup for one breast. The half part of the bodies, you know, you are going to cut it. This is going to be ×2. I hope you get what I'm saying. Okay, so this is it. These are pattern. So now the next thing we want to do is to convert this into a box form. We want to turn it into a box form. These are our bodies. We want to turn the front. We want to give it that V shape. It's called a box. We want to give it that box form. So this is what we are going to do. To achieve that, what we are going to do is to join these two parts together. We'll keep the cup and the yoke aside. Then we'll work with this. So we'll join this place together like so. We'll tape it down. When you tape it down, it will look like this. So for us to form our backs, you bring another paper. You bring another paper like so. You bring another paper. Then you align it. You make sure that it's aligning. You make sure this place is aligning. You can tape it down or pin it down, whichever one you prefer. So I'm just going to pin it down. Next thing you want to do is to decide how deep you want your backs to be. I want my backs to be 4 inches. Please don't go above 4 inches. You can do below. You can do 3 inches, but please your maximum should be 4 inches, so that it will not be too, so your client will not feel uncomfortable, so you too will not feel uncomfortable. So the next thing we want to do is to connect it. I'll connect it to the waistline. Connect it back to the waistline. So you see what I'm doing. You can make it a sharp V if you want, and you can make it a rounded V if you want. So you see, I made mine a sharp V. If you don't want a sharp V, you can make it a rounded V, whichever design you want. So for me, I did a sharp V, and this is 4 inches. I went down by 4 inches. Then I'm just going to cut it out. I'm just going to cut it out. So you see, my backs is ready. If I still want to maintain, if I still want to open it, if I don't want it to be one piece, you know, now is one piece. This is where my cup, this is where I'll sew my cup to. By the time I sew my cup, this is where it will enter. By the time I sew my cup together, it will be here like this, like so. It will be here like so. You see it? This is where my cup will enter. So if I don't want this to be one piece, if I want it to be 2 pieces, if I want a seam line here, maybe I want a boning channel here, all I need to do is to just continue this dart line. I'll just take it straight. I'll just continue this my dart line here. I'll just continue my dart line here, like so. It's as simple as that. You see it? I'll just connect it like so, then cut it out like so. I hope you understand what I mean by this. You see it? I can cut it into 2. It can become 2 pieces. Then when I transfer to fabric, so you see, so it's going to be like so. You see, it's now backs. So these are yoke. So our pattern is ready. These are yoke. These are cup. These are cup. I hope you can see it. Then these are back. These are back yoke. These are back yoke. And these are modesty panel. So this is how I'm going to cut it. This is how I'm going to transfer to fabric. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the tutorial. This is our yoke. This is the cup. This is the down part. This is the back. This is the back yoke, and this is the back, the side back. This is our modesty panel. See it looking so beautiful. So in my next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these beautiful patterns, and we're going to sew it. I'm not going to show you how I drafted the skirt blog because I already have that on my channel. You can check it. I'll drop the link in the description box. You can check how we draft the skirt. So in the next video, we are going to couple this beautiful pattern together into a beautiful dress. You will love it, I promise you. Please, if you find this video helpful, give us a huge thumbs up. Guys, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Please continue to share our videos, please, so that we'll grow this community together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. See you in my next video. Bye.